Everybody check hot mics. I think we've got a couple hot mics. Okay. Okay. Can I get somebody just to say anything, just something from the voice channel? I'm just doing a quick sound test on the YouTube stream.
Hey.
That works. Hold tight. Okay. Can I get somebody just to say anything, just something from the voice channel? I'm just doing a quick sound test on the YouTube stream.
Hey.
All right, we are golden. All right, I'm dropping a link to the YouTube stream into the general chat, text stream, whatever we call that thing. And I'm also dropping it into the calendar, which I always do at the very beginning of class. All right, that's golden. All right, okay, that's clicked over there. All right, cool. Super cool. All right, everybody. We're ready to rock and roll. We're ready. You know what I love about January, man. It's
Hey,
just,
can I interrupt
yeah.
and say something real quick?
Yeah, please.
I don't know if you already said this.
I said almost
But
nothing so far.
okay. Well, so there's a text channel called Real Names.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could get everyone to
Oh, that's Devin.
put their
Hey, Devin.
first.
I was like, who's
Yeah,
talking?
yeah. Yeah, it's Devin. I'm one of the TAs. I just need everyone to put their first and last name in the Real Names channel. This is how we're gonna. I'll eventually this week delete the channel and all the information on there, but I need to create a map for your names, and your like integer Steam ID so that I can automate the attendance. So don't worry if you're worried about like having your name there. It won't be there very long. It's just so that I can grab the information.
Yeah. And that is how we
Yeah,
are going to
so the
obviate.
nickname is nice, but this is going to be um it'll just be easier if I have it all in one place just for right now.
Yeah.
Just responding to Michael. And then, I'll delete the whole channel. It just makes it easier when I'm grabbing the information so I don't miss anybody, even if
Yep.
your real name is the exact same as your nickname.
Yep. And literally, you're doing it right. Just literally just type your name, your own kind of nickname for the channel is going to be right there with it. So we'll be able to kind of scrape that. And then eventually
And
we'll be
this will
doing attendance in an automated kind of way. And that's part of what that does
and
for us.
this allows you to still have freedom to put your nickname whatever you want throughout the semester. You can continue to change it. You can change even your Steam username, or not Steam, your Discord username, and it doesn't really matter. Once I've grabbed the names.
Yep. Okay, cool. Thanks, Devin. And then related to that, as long as we're talking about this, yeah.
I've got. I'm kind of lost. I don't know where to go to make that change that Devin mentioned.
So there's a text channel called Real Names.
Real Names. I can't find it.
You click on that. It's just below all the voice channels.
Yeah, so you see the text channels at the top. There's general, attendance, Real Names, Workshop 1, Workshop 2. So you don't need to make a change. I just need you to like leave a comment saying what your actual name is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I found
just
it.
go there and type your first name and last name.
Sorry if that wasn't clear.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, yeah, you bet. So the other thing that would really be helpful with this class there is it's a very interactive kind of a class experience. And so in order to have that interactivity work really well, if you would not mind doing the following thing, I would really, really appreciate it. Over on the left of your Discord, there is a kind of a column of servers. You can see all the servers that you're part of, including this one. If you go there, you right mouse click, and one of the options is change nickname. If you would please change your nickname to be whatever you want me to call you or refer to you as. It can be your actual name, it can be a made up name, it can be Star-Lord, it can be whatever, whatever you want to be referred to as, the context of the class, then you throw that there, okay?
And real quick, in the real name section, put whatever UVU refers to you specifically as, like your first name, last name there.
That's right. Real names
Just
is
in
your
case
real
it's
first and
different.
last. I'm talking about nickname. And that way, when we're in the chat and having our normal conversations, I can be like, okay, like John said, okay, so is my voice super glitchy? Or is it just John? Okay, it's just you, man. Sorry. Yep, okay. Let's see what else. All right, Michael, I appreciate the comment. So one other thing relative to a few of these things, again, if you're like already in my 3450 or in 2810, some of this is going to be repeat, so I apologize. But I'm really tired. I just want I'm super tired. Little beat. FERPA, I got to do my little FERPA thing. Okay, FERPA basically says I can't be like publicly announcing to the world that John Q. Public is a student in my blah 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 class, and that's maybe gray zone, but and here's the quality of your work, post your grades, stuff like that. You can't do. It's just a question of respecting your privacy as students, which is all good, and I totally believe in it. But in this case, we're going to stream class to YouTube. What you see on the little streaming screen over here, what you see this is a thing I've created with OBS. So I've got this stream that goes out. That thing that pushes out that you see is what everybody sees and what gets sort of stored on YouTube. So you'll notice there are no like student names. There's no other information to identify you as a student in this class. The comments that come through on the general text channel don't show up on YouTube. So, it works really, really well. The only potential gotcha is if you speak on the voice channel, then your voice is going to be, going out to YouTube. And so just understand that in essence, if you speak up in class, you're sort of giving permission for your voice and possibly me referencing you by only the first name of whatever you've put as your nickname, that'll be out on YouTube, publicly available, accessible. It's not a problem in the sense that you don't have to speak. You know what I mean? You can just drop comments in the text channel. It's all good. Okay, so but a certain level of verbal interplay, verbal exchange is really, really valuable, for the class, for what we're doing. All right, everybody cool with that? Everybody got the FERPA goodness? That's kind of become, I don't know, it's become a little bit more of an issue showing up. Anyway, so here we are. Here we are together. 305G. By the way, one thing I did not look at, I want to quick check. The last time I checked, there was one person on wait list, and I believe that number bumped. And I'm just doing a quick double check right now so everybody knows. There should have been a bump in the, ability to add.
Yeah, hey, Dr. K, I was
Yo.
able to make it in.
So that did bump up then.
Yeah, I think it increased it by like 4 or so, and I was able
Okay.
to get on in.
Sorry, I'm having to like re-log in. There are two services in my life that have the highest level of apparent security and barrier to entry. And one of those is the IRS, and the other one is uvu.edu. And I don't know why that's a thing, but it is. That's not just me, right? Like every time I come back, they're like, oh, yeah, you know, if that's who you really are. Like, yeah, me from 2 hours ago. Yeah, same IP address. Remember me? Apologies. I just wanted to look real quick so we know, so I can just kind of let you know. Again, I know there are probably potentially a couple students even like watching on YouTube that weren't immediately able to get in. And now I will tell you, I'm looking at a secret portal that nobody has access to. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. No, so I'm now, okay, we bumped me up. Yeah, it's now like 50 with one on the wait list. Okay, so I will bump again, okay, but just hold tight. If you're like watching on YouTube, just stay in contact with me. We'll figure it out. Um, I figure if you want to party with me, then that's how we party. So you're welcome. I'd rather open up some space. And Devin and Tim really love to have a lot of grading to help with, and I know I do. So it all works. Okay. So, okay, number one, apologies. I said I was going to explain a little bit. I explained this again. At this point, this is my first class of the last 2 days. And so some of these stories I've told a couple times. Uh, okay, day after New Year's, aka January 2nd, I rocked some kind of weird vertigo thing. It's like a little infection in the inner ear or something. And then I spent, like 48 hours with the room spinning about 40 miles an hour, and then it sort of slowed down, and it's like dropped in half every day, but it's still just a little bit floaty, little tiny floaty. And it was only Saturday that I finally had enough just physical ability to just like sit at my keyboard and focus on the screen. Madness. Not recommended. Would not recommend. 1 star. So that is why. And then I was kind of going like chronological order for what I was going to worry about first. So I did Monday's class first, and then I did today's 11:30 class second, and we were last, which is why this Canvas class sucks the most of the three. So again, I really apologize. I was all set to launch on January 2nd, and then woke up with the room spinning. I would have rather been prepping these Canvas classes. So, okay, let's see. A couple of items I want to hit you with. Also, by way of explanation, for those that haven't done this online thing with me, in my cool little office config, I have over here, there's the external monitor, okay, right there. And that is what you see on the stream. Well, it's the screen part of what you see on the stream. Excuse me. And when I'm reading stuff, it's often just easier for me to pivot and look at the big screen. So that's why I'm sometimes looking over here, okay, instead of here. I can see a smaller version of it in OBS in the monitor, but it's when you get down to text, it's just brutal to try to read. Let's see. I want to talk about how the class works broadly, and I'm going to come back to it a little bit. but I wanted to orient you to how we're going to do it. Uh, Also, some of you have heard, I'm sure, talked to people who were in my party last semester, and that was the first time that I had done 305G at UVU. There is an equivalent class when I was on faculty at BYU for 15 years in a bygone era, back before I retired and unretired. Um, that last time I did that was like 6 or 7 years ago. And so I've done the class, I've done this kind of a thing, and I created a pretty cool structure. And then when I went to kind of like pop the hood, first of all, a lot of things were happening in my summer. But when I popped the hood on it to do it here, I realized that like the entire frickin' world had changed in 7 years. And like almost everything I had that I was like my go-to was a mess. Okay. It was like not working anymore. And it's like, okay, that's not a thing anymore. That's not a thing anymore. Oh, this is really a thing now, and we've reached a kind of a crazy madness, on a lot of fronts. So we're going to go there. By the way, I want you to respect and admire my Christmas ornaments. It's my last dedication to 2020. A big fu to the worst and stupidest year of my life, and I'm older than probably all of you. 2020 was the dumpster fire year from dog crap hell, and I think that we can all agree on that. Start with what we can agree on, and we'll build from there. Okay. Yeah, where am I going with this? So I really feel behind the curve. I just want you to know that. Okay. So we did FERPA. I want to talk about, we are live stream. Okay. And when we do this live stream thing, it is an attendance. We're taking attendance. So expectation is that you're here. It's a big chunk of the grade. Okay. It's like 30% of the grade is just attendance. Now, on the one hand, you're not going to have an easier 30%, grade points acquired in any class you're ever going to take, in your entire collegiate career. Okay. You know that. Show up, one vital sign, and the truth is you could pass away mid-class and you'd still get credit for it. You know what I mean? Because, Devin's bot is just going to still think you're there. So I'll tell you about some of my motivations for the class. What are we trying to do? But the fact that we're doing it live together in real time, not online, there are, broadly speaking, two different kinds of classes. Rough taxonomy. There are skills classes. So when I teach CS 2810, that's very much a skills class. If you showed up on day one in my 2810, and I've got my module exams, right? Some of you know, and you just took all 12. Yeah, if you would, Michael, not pass away, we would all appreciate it, and probably others as well, and you. In 2810, if you show up on the very first day and you take all 12 module exams, get adequate points on them, and then submit your final project, you're good. You're done with 2810 because it's a skills-based class. This is not like that. This is experiential, and that means that we're going to go through experiences together, and really it's about just engagement, and for now, while I'm still trying to evolve the class, this is the second time I've done it. Did it last semester and now. I think I'm gonna be doing it every semester. As it moves on, it's going to continue to evolve. It's always a work in progress, at least until I find some stasis. In my experience, having been teaching for a really long time in a lot of different kinds of contexts, it usually takes me a couple of years because I'm just constantly tweaking everything, and I'm just not married to any particular solution. I just want to try to figure out what works better, figure out what gives us an experience, what creates the experience that I'm really trying to have. And I thought that last semester, my own take was that it was pretty smoking, even though it was really A lot of ad hoc. We did a lot of fake it till you make it last semester. Now, one of the things that happens when everything's fake it till you make it, um, uh, I'm going to respond to you, Alex. When you rely on the fake it till you make it, it does give you a lot of latitude to do the right things. But one of the things that I do is when I'm really screwed up on having just things posted and assignments or whatever, I'm never ever going to hold you accountable uh, for something that I've just kind of messed up on. If I have something ready to go and I say, here's the thing, it's due in 2 weeks, then it's due in 2 weeks and we're going to do it. But if I'm just like, shoot, man, I just found this great reading that related to last week and I'm going to post it now, it can't be due last week. Okay, I'm gonna a lot of latitude. So last semester, if anybody heard anything on the rumor mill, it was pretty lax on a lot of the whole deadline thing, and that's gonna tighten down as we figure out what we're doing. That's the bottom line. Okay, so just understand that. Yeah, Alex, compilers. Yeah, man. Um, that's really all I think I'd need to say about that. Okay, so every Tuesday, Thursday. Now, what I do have, let me see. Class happens on Discord. A few things. Would you please, would you please, step number one, contact me on Discord. Okay? Just if you need to get a hold of me, your first line is to DM me on Discord. Discord is more or less where I live. It's where a lot of you live, so it's pretty convenient. We got all the options. We got text, we got file exchange, we got voice chat, we got video chat, we got screen share, and most of us are frankly already kind of here. And that to me is and the interface beats the crap out of everything else, in my opinion. Teams, Zoom, Slack, pick one, you know. Um, but oh yeah, David, attendance. We are going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it. And I want to get down to like down here, and we'll talk about it right here. Okay, we'll come back to it. I want to just say a couple of things here. Please, please contact me on Discord first. After that, go UVU email. Okay. If you send me a note on Canvas, I will respond and ask you if you could please DM me on Discord. Okay. Canvas interface for inbox email crapola is just horrible. It's a productivity suck is what it is. And we're going to be in 3450 if you're interested over there. We talk about design. That's a good example of some flawed design. What else? Moi, Dr. K. I would really strongly prefer it if you would call me by something that is actually my name, which means I really, really would like you to not call me professor. Okay, please, I beg you. And to me, it's like I don't know what it is. Why am I so sensitive to that? I think it's just because it's so impersonal, and I think the last thing we need is impersonality. Is that even a word? I think we need more human connection and personableness. And so it would be like me, just referring to you all as student. You student, you student, hello student. It would be like weirdly insulting. Well, I think it's similarly weirdly distancing, right? So I'd like you to just call me something that is actually my name. Dr. K works. That's pretty easy. Chuck works. I really have no offense. In many respects, prefer it. If you call me Chuck, it's great. Chuck, Dr. K, those are most common. Professor, I will call you student, and then you will think it's clever, and so you will continue to call me professor, but it's not fresh anymore. Okay, so don't do it. Just call me, please, by a name that I actually relate to. There's my email. Oh, LinkedIn. You should have a LinkedIn profile by now. You really should. And anybody who wants to connect with me on LinkedIn, I'm totally fine with that. There's no extra bounty points on that, no extra credit. But I think it's, and you don't need to by any stretch, but it is time to start building your professional network, which is what LinkedIn to me is. Do you remember this thing called a Rolodex? LinkedIn is first and foremost a Rolodex in the cloud. That's the back in the day, back in my day, uh, you'd have somebody's phone number and it was like their work number, and then they change jobs and you're in another state and you got it in your Rolodex and you cannot find them. They're just gone. Today you're just like, oh, I haven't talked to so and so in 2 years, and then you just jump on LinkedIn and you're just like, oh, cool, man, she's at Amazon now. Boom, then and there's some contact there. You DM them, on LinkedIn, or you do something like that. So I mean, it's really at least a Rolodex in the sky, and you ought to start, building relationships with everybody. Okay, for any latecomers, will you please do two things? Go over to the text channel called Real Names and simply type your first and last name. And that's number one. And number two, would you please go to the server on the left-hand column, right mouse click, change your nickname. By the way, that nickname is only changed for this server. It's preserved everywhere else, whatever it currently is on any other Discord server, okay? And change it to whatever you'd like to be referred to in the context of this class. I will never use your last name, okay? Again, about the FERPA thing, I will never use your last name. Verbally, I'll never say it, out on the YouTube channel. All right, and Devin just said, feel free to add him as well. There we got Devin and Tim. They are the TAs. Is Tim on? Tim. Devin, is Tim on? I don't see. He is not. I don't think he is not speaking for himself. If he is, anyway, we'll talk a little bit more about assignments and grading and things like that. But this is the second semester that Devin and Tim have been TAs for 305G, and I'll tell you all about that. Let's see. First reading assignment, by the way, is read the syllabus. Read the whole dang thing. Let's see. And by the way, please interrupt at any moment if you have questions. Let's
Not
see.
A question, but I thought I would let you know.
Yeah, David.
On the class schedule, one of the breaks is known as Thanksgiving break, even though it's an.
Did I not clean that up yet? Oh,
I don't
the
know.
schedule.
Several of those are Thanksgiving break. I was looking at it.
Oh no, you know what I did?
There's 5 or 6
it's
that
not
were
clean. It's not finished. It's not. Yeah. For example, I think spring break is wrong. Fall break is not real. Right? What I did. Okay. Yeah. No. Good point. I did the dates. The dates are correct. The stuff is wrong, and this is kind of a. It's still the first week is correct, and then I've got to try to. This was one where I gave up last night, like 2 a.m. and just was like, okay, we'll clean it all up later. So yeah, excellent point, and I'll keep you posted on those kinds of things. For right now, syllabus and the Thursdays, these readings are still real, and blog setup is real. And this little paren over here is one where we just divvied it up like who was grading it, kind of thing. So you would know, like, oh, I got reamed on my smallish post number one, and I'm gonna go. I know I got to go talk to Devin about that kind of thing. First line. Is that cool? That's again my whole like everything's rolling late thing. But yeah, and the other thing that relates to that, because we're still got a little bit of fake it till we make it going down. I'm still looking at it going, okay, did all these topics work? Did they not work? Do we toss some? Do we replace it? What about like the readings or like videos I had you go watch? You know what I mean? I don't know. That's why we got to figure. We're just figuring it out. We don't know, right? Um, and the other thing that goes along with that is you need to understand Dr. K's algorithm for basically for life. This is really true. I know this is going to sound like goofy and flippant, but I mean this really, really true. Step number one is you just try to figure out what the right thing is to do, and usually you don't know what that is going in. You know, you might have some governing principles, but you don't know all the details yet, right? That's step number one. Step number two, after you figure out what the right thing is to do, is you do it. And then the next step is you loop back to number one, where you figure out what the next right thing is to do, and you do it. And so the beauty of that is you're not loaded down or burdened by a decision you once made just because you paid. You know what I mean? Sticking with a bad decision just because you paid a pretty high price to acquire it. That's called the sunk cost fallacy, and it's a really bad way to live your life. So I'm a big fan of changing and modifying as we go at whatever level we have to. One quick story to illustrate so you understand how deathly serious I am about this. My first semester here, I was teaching 4450, and I think we were about 2 weeks into it, and I'd only joined faculty like 2 weeks before that, so there was not adequate time, and everything was a new prep. And so I'm trying to prep and teach this thing while prepping it at the same time. And 2 weeks in, I just thought, this thing just sucks. And a student came and grabbed me, and it was just bangs on my door, and it was like 2 hours before class time, and he's like, "Hey, you got a minute?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm hungry, so walk with me." And we went down to the food court and got some J Dogs, and I just said, "Before you tell me your thing, can I tell you my thing?" Like, yeah. I'm like, "I think this class sucks. This class that I'm teaching, I think sucks." I'm like, "Is that true, or am I just making that up? Am I?" And he's like, "No, I think it's kind of sucks." Excellent. We have a starting position. Um, what do we do? And so we sat there, literally just me and this one student, and we just sat there over J Dogs for an hour, like on the back of a napkin, like literally on the back of a napkin, reconstructing how to approach the entire class. And it was the second week of the semester. And I rolled into class, and sat in a chair at the front, and pivoted around and looked back at everybody. And I'm just like, I think this class sucks. Who's with me? Everybody's like, yeah, it kind of does. Right. Yeah, me too. And we then whiteboarded, and we spent that entire class period reconstructing the class in real time with the students. And we literally constructed it as a brainstorming session with, the 20 of them plus me. And that became the genesis of my version of CS 4450. So all I'm trying to say is just to help you understand how dead serious I am about not being stuck in some weird rut just because that's how you've done it before. In fact, that whole thing, right? The bureaucratic, this is how we've always done it. Oh, man. I'd rather just be punched in the face repeatedly than hear that. Because, here's another philosophy that I've held for a really long time. The length of time that you have held an opinion has no bearing on the truthfulness of that opinion, turns out. I think that's absolutely true. So you just can't get too married to ideas. I mean, latch on and continue to figure it out, continue to process. That's what this whole thing's about. And that includes the structure of the class. Okay. When everyone's going to make a blog, and we're going to go heavily on writing. Okay. This is a very writing intensive class. Okay. All right. It's going to be pretty writing intensive. Everybody's going to make a blog, and when you're done, we're going to put a blog roll right here, and all your blogs are going to go here. I organize them by platform, and by the way, I deplatformed Medium. You know why? So Blogspot, WordPress, Wix, and like roll your own, whatever, you know what I mean? You can do like your own thing where you build your own kind of WordPress thing and host it in your own space. I talk a lot about all this stuff, but I just want to say I've deplatformed Medium because about a third of the class last semester was using Medium. And then I don't know, we're going to talk about this, but I don't know what what in the hell is going on? The world's going crazy. But Medium began to simply take down posts by my students in 305G. These were not controversial. You know what I mean? This was not public safety. I swear to you, this was just like, oh, I read Cliff Stahl, The Cuckoo's Egg. You know, security is really important. Blah blah blah. And 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 then like about a quarter, so about a third of the class, it was a big class, about a third of the class used Medium, and about a quarter to a third of the students that were using Medium had either their whole blog taken down or individual posts that were just blocked and taken down with like no explanation, no recourse, no, not even like I don't even know. I think a little notice, you violated our terms of use. Okay. And it turned out to be really poignant because this is a live topic right now, right? I mean, like as of like this week with like Twitter and Facebook, right? Um, and again, you know, private companies, private stuff, we'll talk about that. You know, I mean, Medium can do whatever the crap they feel like. And, but, you know, but I'm not, but we also get to do whatever crap we feel like. And so I basically just, you can't use Medium. It was too disruptive to us. Students are trying to, you know, make comments on blog posts and they're trying to get graded, right? And the students were like, click, I mean, the TAs would click, not there. And it was really disruptive. And again, it will come back to it, but I don't know. It seems like everybody right now in the platform space has gotten, I think, a little carried away with the need to change everybody's diaper relative to what is, you know, appropriate content and what is not. And we will talk about this because there is a difference between, for example, a call to action for violence and the crime of wrongthink. There are differences between these, and you know what I'm talking about. And we're going to talk about that and hopefully have some really cool and honest debate and discussion. And you'll see where I'm at. I'm not overly dogmatic about anything, and I'll tell you a little more about that as well. So you kind of know where I'm coming from. We will read one book. It is The Cuckoo's Egg by Cliff Stahl. It is an old book, late 80s. I don't know what the copyright is, 87, 88. We'll talk about that. And you get to pick another book of your own choosing, but it has to be related to computers and society. And there is an assignment where you'll be able to like tell me what the book is. I started creating over here up on the page, approved books are in this Google Doc, okay? And I believe that is unreadable, I know, but where are we at here? Stop. Okay. Okay. And all I did was every time a student, you know, like asked about a book, like, hey, what about this? What about that? It can be anything as long as it relates and as long as it has a decent heft to it. You know what I mean? It can't be like a 10-page pamphlet. But these were just a bunch of the books that showed up. And if it showed up, we dropped it on here. And I don't think this is completely thorough. And then what I love about this is every book on this list that I didn't already have, which was about a third, about a third of these were books that I didn't already have. Then I would just buy them. And that's just a win for me. So super happy. You should be in a position, I'll make sure and turn on the share, but I think that that link alone, if somebody can check, I think that that link alone gives you access. Is that, can somebody confirm or deny on that?
I have access.
So, okay, so the link is what you need. So the link is there once you click on. So in other words, if we agree as well and you jump on and do it, I'm totally cool with that, okay? if you want to jump on and make changes as well, it's be respectful, obviously. And wait until I give you the green light before you go drop it in there. But that's super handy. So when you're looking for books and you're like, I don't know, what's my second book? One approach is click over here and just start scouting. And then these are links to Amazon. Nothing sacred about Amazon other than it is the largest bookseller, and you can go hunt for that anywhere you want, but there's a convenient link if you want to use it. Okay, what else we got? So here's how we roll. Oh, and you can read and blog about a third book for extra credit, but you do have to clear that with me as well. Just, you know what I mean? Just so it's like a book that's legit. And the main things about these two books, the second book that you get to choose, and then a third book if you want to do it, we're going to figure out how much extra credit. It's probably like 1%. You know what I mean? You do not need the book, The Gift of Fire. Does it say that book is the one? Ooh, shoot. Now, you don't need The Gift of Fire. It's not a bad book at all, as those kinds of books go. See, I keep it in a place of treasured love and respect up here with my third edition LC3 book. No, you do not need it. Okay. So I need to fix that. Devin, would you please make a note, or maybe just DM me a note so we can get that off. I'm so sorry. Because I know that you can, unless somebody started in and started reading it, because I know how aggressive you are, and started like marking the thing up already. Barring that, if you have bought it, hopefully you can still return it. I really apologize. That did not occur to me until just now. And we do need to get that cleaned off, because the thing about the book is there's some things about the book. It's fine, but I think it's dry, and I think there's so much real life stuff that we can kind of create our own world here. Yeah.
Hey, Dr. K.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I just switched from a different teacher, and they were saying that it was required for their class, so maybe that's why it's on there.
Yeah, well, it was kind of like, because I kind of inherited, coming in last fall on this, the structure as it was. Obviously, I sort of tossed all that out and did my thing. I'd had charter to do that, by the way. I wasn't just like freelancing. I was asked by our department chair to start running some experiments with how to tweak and massage this. So yeah, but that is my bad. Okay. So we already talked about read these with greater care, to get more deeply into it. Somebody asked earlier about attendance. Okay, thank you, Devin. Attendance is 30%, but here's the key. This is the big one. You earn it at the rate of 100% if you materialize in person. Okay, this is critical, and I probably ought to bold this. Read very carefully. Let me blow this up and put it in your face so that you cannot claim later that I whitewashed this. Okay, you lose 3% of your course grade per absence up to the maximum of all the points. So by the time you blow off 10 times, you had better smoke everything else if you want a C minus. Okay, and all I'm saying is it's an experiential class. Just be here. If you have exceptions, the stuff comes up, whatever, right? You got to go have a baby. You got hit by a car. Your baby hit you with a car. Whatever the dynamics are of your life, things happen, right? Crap happens. We get that. Just ping me. Just let me know what's going on. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. Yo, Dr. K, I got sick, or whatever. I got this crazy case of vertigo. And then I'll be like, cool, it's all good. YouTube videos out there, watch that, and just come let me know when you've watched it, and then we'll give you credit. Okay, we'll run the honor system on that. Now, and if that happens like every Thursday, for 16 weeks, then we have a problem. You know what I mean? Because it's still part of this, it's a community, okay? And there's a bunch of times, a bunch of things we're going to do that are interactive workshop kinds of stuff. And that's where the little group workshop voice channels are come into play. We'll like, you know, every 3 or 4 of you each will like jump into these channels and do like reviews of the books or workshopping your writing or things like that. So we do live workshops just in those voice channels. Works really, really well, actually. Okay, so everybody got that? But Dr. K, what if I miss a class? Okay, go away. Go away, student. All right. That's attendance. And I mean, and you know, technically that's obviously rife for abuse. Fine. That's up to you. I think the class is interesting enough in terms of what we do that it's just fun. You know what I mean? I'd like it to be, I'd rather you're not here because you like have an ankle bracelet and it makes you be here. I'd rather that it's just like, this is really fun. This is cool. I'd rather be here listening and being engaged in this conversation. That's my goal. You know what I mean? Don't compel it to the extent possible. I mean, it's compelled by attendance in that respect, but you can also, you know, get on, fall asleep, put on The Office, put on Queen's Gambit. That's a good play. Put on The Mandalorian. Do not put on Cobra Kai. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That is not a good series. It sucks. We can talk more about that. Blogging. This class is very much about writing, okay? It is very, very much about writing. And not only is it about, okay, why writing? Wait, The Office is off Netflix. I just finished actually all of the, uh, The Office is off. So where is it? Where is it? It's The Office. Okay, wow. No, I think I knew that was coming. Anyway, yeah, no, I finished it though, like somewhere around Thanksgiving. I think on Thanksgiving break, I think I finished the last season of The Office after all these years. Okay, here's the deal. You are going to make a blog. The assignment is already up for that. You are going to do posts, blog posts. I call these smallish posts, and we're going to talk about them. And what is expected is very specific, because it's a very, very narrow exercise that we're going to talk about. It's designed deliberately by me to try to help you be a better writer. And it is my belief at the very end, we'll actually do a personal writing workshop, as you can see right here. It's 2% of your course grade. You meet literally with me on Discord, and we pull up one of your blog posts and we walk through it for like 15 or 20 minutes. I will do that with every student in the class. And it's really cool, personal, at a personal level, it's very cool. And I talked to everybody that did that last semester. And literally 100%. I don't think they were just sucking up. They might have been. But every single one of them, you know, was like, no, this really made a difference in my writing. I really feel like it did some stuff. For some of you, it's very uncomfortable to write. I get it. Reality is writing is going to be part of your career. It really will. It really, really will. Even if it's just email, even if it's just Discord chat or Slack or whatever your company uses. You know, writing that memo, writing that proposal, documenting your code, the block comments in your code. You know, that ability to communicate is a really, really critical thing. So all of this blogging is built around a desire, where we're at, is built around a desire to help you become a better writer and a better communicator. Sorry, I'm like really struggling with the old mouse right now. There we go. Okay, smallish posts are on the topic of the day. Current events are a topic that you get to choose just by checking out the world. The book-inspired posts are about the cuckoo's egg and the second book of your choice. And if you do an extra credit third book, it would be, you know, also a similar kind of a post. You will actually go on and read other people's blogs and read their posts and drop comments on their posts. So the audience and your blog has to be publicly accessible. Now, this is the key. You don't have to identify yourself in that, you know, it does have to be publicly accessible, So your audience is the whole world potentially, not just me, not just the TAs, and your fellow students. Okay. Now, again, the reason FERPA is not an issue is because you don't have to identify yourself on the blog. It doesn't have to be John Q. Public's blog. You know what I mean? And we can, kind of get to it. We had a hot mic from somebody, and we can get to it through the blog roll. And even on the blog roll, it doesn't identify who you are. Hang on. Hot mic. Hot mic. Okay, hang on. I got to pop over here. Who's got the hot mic going? Andrew? Yuki, you got a hot mic. There we go. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. It's the new crime of 2020, and all the other, whose mic is on. Which again, it's not a big problem unless something starts to happen in the background. Okay, so your audience is your fellow students, the world, me. I have found that by doing it that way, the writing gets better. When you're just mailing in a bunch of crap, not that any of you would do that, but when that has happened, when I began long time ago, actually, to have these things be publicly available, everything changed in terms of the quality of the writing. And again, not a FERPA conflict because none of the students know who you are. You can say who you are. That's fine, but you don't have to. So you can still maintain anonymity as far as that's concerned. And of course, I know whose posts are go to who from a grading perspective. And when you submit your assignments, like here's my blog post, whatever, it'll be a link to that post on your blog. So we just click on that link and go. Okay. So that's kind of what all the writing stuff is about. Then the readings is this. Daily readings is just any of the crap that I assign to you, whatever that is. And then the cuckoo's egg and the book of your choice. And we may tweak some of this, but the concept's going to still be there. But some of these ideas and percentages might tweak. Social networking, I just want you to make a LinkedIn profile if you haven't already, and then clean it up and make it good if you do, even if you do. And I will help you. And I am going to grade those, and I am going to grade them subjectively. And the other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make this commitment to you. Cross my heart. Put my hand on my UVU logo. This is Hubert, who is going to administer the oath to me. I am going to create a series of blog posts of my own that I will post on LinkedIn. It'll be at least 5 or 6, and it will be principles of an effective LinkedIn profile. And I'm going to also use that as a reference point, so that I'm going to post that taxonomy, so you'll know all the kind of dumb things that you can do in a LinkedIn profile. And but I'll be like, -1, -2, whatever. But I'll tell you what it is, and then you can go back in, refine it, change it, alter it, say, okay, Dr. K, how about now? And I'll be like, yeah, that's better, up your grade, you can make it better, more, it becomes something where you can always get all the LinkedIn points by just taking that seriously, okay? But it's part of, and if you have a reason why you really can't, then come talk to me, we'll find an alternate effective way. That there are really 2 reasons that have happened in my 20 years of doing stuff like this. One is I literally had somebody who was like active duty military with a security clearance, where they could not have a presence on LinkedIn, and like, okay, that's unusual. They were like, whatever, Army intelligence or something, some other oxymoron. And in another instance, there are people that just deal with certain kinds of anxiety and certain emotional struggles that make that a really difficult thing for them to do. Fine. Again, you just let me know that you'd really prefer to not do that. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna grill you on that. I want that to be comfortable and reasonable. And we'll just find something else for you to do that's going to be comparably valuable with a comparable amount of effort. Okay. But nobody is forced to publicly disclose anything that they're not comfortable doing. And I think that's, to me, that's one of the rules of kind of, to me, it's just part of just reasonable safety in an environment like this. You know, we're friends. We should be friends. We're at least cordial acquaintances. And this should be an environment that, above all, is a comfortable place where we can, you know, grow and think and even change and shift and challenge and explore and do it all in an environment that doesn't feel risky and stupid. Not that the environment out there today isn't risky and stupid on balance, but we're going to try to create a little oasis here. You know what I mean? So we're going to talk a little bit about the rules of engagement of this Dr. K's 305G party. Okay, because it is going to be a party. We are going to have a really good time. I know I will. You know, your mileage may vary. Down the stretch, there is a kind of a larger, you know, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of like it's a blog post, but it's on personal and professional ethics. You know, your own, like, these are my principles, you know, of my own ethics that are going to guide me personally and professionally. It's just an exercise. We grade it very lightly. There is a literary extravaganza down the stretch, which is the easiest 4% you will ever get. It's an attempt to just make you do something literary, you know, like you're going to write a haiku or you're going to write a poem, do something that involves not coding and the other side of your brain. It has to be something that involves the less exercised part of your brain. I did this again. I did this when I was at BYU. I've had musical performances. I once had improv comedy. I had somebody who worked at the Comedy Sports and brought like spontaneous comedy sports people with him or her to class and did like a spontaneous comedy sports thing, which was fantastic. I had one interpretive dance over the years, a lot of artwork, a number of musical things, recordings, audio things. I once did a live performance of a number, which you can see that video on the YouTube channel. If you scroll, it's one of the earlier videos. Me and Josh Dutton rocking. He had done a song called Programmer Blues, and when I saw it, when I got it, and I listened to it, it was cute, and I knew that it was just, you know, it was a 12-bar blues, and I just pinged him, and I'm just like, yo, Josh, what if we just did that together? Would you be game if we did that together? And we threw it down, and so we did. And what you see there on the video on my YouTube channel is the first time we ever performed that together. That was live in class. We'd never practiced it. And Josh is a killer blues harp player, like unto. He's a good harmonica player, really good harmonica player. I'm a crappy, above average harmonica player, but and a decent guitarist. Position video down the stretch. You're going to create a video. You're going to post it again, and it's just going to be you just taking some position.
Really quick?
What's that?
Can I explain something really quick?
Who's that, Devin?
Yeah. Somebody's asking about attendance and chronic tardiness. I wasn't sure if you talked about that yet.
I think I did. I thought I did adequately.
Well, it's asking, does this mean
chronic tardiness, Camille? Oh, that means like you keep rolling in about 20 minutes into the thing.
So just really quick, simply describe how attendance is going to be done. It's just going to look at who's active in the chat, like in the voice chat. So it's not even going to look at, eventually that attendance channel will basically just be for those who like watched on YouTube and missed a day or something. And you won't really have to worry about attendance. You won't have to write anything. It's just going to go through and like look at who's active in the chat. Right now it's implemented very. Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
It says I can only hear Dr. K and not anyone else. Any suggestions?
I can hear everybody else. It's just got to be you, Harrison, man.
Okay. Well, I can explain it later too.
Yeah, we'll
Harrison,
talk more about it.
But basically, It's really simple right now, and until it's at the like today, time is not implemented. It's just instantaneous. Whoever's there at that present time, but it's gonna be improved in the next week or two to look at like when you arrive and things like that.
That's right. So we have a bot. We have a bot built by Devin that basically just looks at the voice channel and starts at the start of class time at 4 o'clock, goes to 5:15. So we can basically just kind of tell. We will be able to tell kind of chronic tardiness. And I mean, because let's face it, right? I mean, if attendance is 30% of the grade, and you come half of the time during attendance, now again, if you've got an issue, you know what I mean? If there's something that is a chronic issue for you, you just let me know, and we'll work with you. But barring that, that's all. And the adding your names to the chat won't be a thing. Once you join the voice, you'll be marked by the bot as being there, and and including when you leave. Okay. I hope that makes sense, Camille. But again, any issues, man, just let me know. I am far from your worst nightmare when it comes to working on just things like that are part of life. Life is life. So we don't have to make it more difficult than it already is. Michael, blogging and attendance is 68% of the class. So yeah, you may want to take these two things seriously. Okay. Yeah, Michael, it is called. We named the bot Cancel as a silent tribute to cancel culture, which we're going to talk about. It just seemed germane to our topic, right? Because that there really isn't cancel culture in the way we know it without technology. That's a bizarre and crazy and cool thing. Cool in the sort of historical, sociological sense, not cool in the, you know what I mean? Please, you got to understand me. No, so Joshua, no, when you're on Discord and you're bopping around, and it doesn't have to be, Discord does not have to be like your the focused window on your machine. So you're gonna still be there. You're fine. Same thing with if you're on your phone, if you're on Discord on your phone, once again, you'll add the chat, And all right, cool. I've already got, and by the way, I already have a couple of emails on Canvas. Would you please DM me? Would you please just not send me emails on Canvas? Okay. What else? That is probably good for that. Are there any questions about, I understand that the details are still sifting out, for which I apologize. I've already apologized. But this is the gist of what we're trying to do and the experience that we're trying to foster. What I care most about from you as students is a sincerity and an engagement. If there's sincerity and there's engagement, it really does compensate for a lot. And when you've got circumstances and stuff popping, you just got to let me know. Really, you don't even need a note. If you have accessibility issues, you don't even need a note from the accessibility office. Just tell me, yo, Dr. K, sometimes I have this, it's a struggle to do this or that, and I'll just work with you on it, okay? It's a very low barrier to entry to get some sort of humanity out of me when it comes to just look, like I said, my experience, life is, life is already a big enough, kind of pain in the ass without making it harder than it already kind of is. So let's not contribute, to the extent possible. Let's not contribute. Let's try to lighten some burdens instead of piling on. Okay. All right. That's kind of an overview. That's kind of a coverage of the syllabus. Do we have any questions? By the way, WordPress is really easy. WordPress is super easy, but we'll, like Devin said, we will try to jump on and help as well. But it's really a good experience actually as a CS major to just go, get some experience, firing it up and doing it, especially if you're hosting on WordPress. So that was due. That's due. Oh, that is end of the week. End of the week. So yeah. So Michael. Oh, let me show you. It's not due Friday. It's not due Friday. It's due Sunday night. And as long as you've taken a good crack at it, I'll work with you on the deadline. But we gotta get going. So the blog has got to be up there. What I want to show you is what is real so far. The 2 days of attendance for this week are published. These, notice that's not the correct date. So those have got to all be updated. The blog setup, I'm going to come back to it. Smallish posts, they're all unpublished right now. Current events, unpublished. Book inspired posts, unpublished. Blog comments, unpublished. Writing workshop, the readings, today's readings are published. And everything else is unpublished for now. And it's just given me a window to try to rototill through everything, and it'll come online. And again, I'm going to stop apologizing. I just feel bad. You know what I mean? Okay, this is the blog setup, and the deadline is January 17th, which, if I'm not mistaken, that should be Sunday night at midnight. Is that true? Calendar buffs? Today's the 12th, 1918, 17. Yeah. I did it myself in my head. Oh, and Michael, thank you. Yeah, so that's Sunday night. So definitely get after it. So you do need to get after that. And what I try to do on every one, like when you're in the assignment, okay, you can click right there, and there's the whole blog setup thing. Gives you a little bit of a background. Read it. Guidelines. There's a link to WordPress. I talk a little bit about Medium. How you could use LinkedIn if you wanted to, if you already have a blog, how you can't use Instagram or Twitter or some other microblogging platform. And I'd prefer you not use Facebook. And we can talk about that. Nobody's ever really pressed real hard, like, I have to, it's the force of the Zuckerberg, I have to. And they just can't be firewalled. And then you've got to have some ability to tell what your traffic is. And later on in the semester, I'm gonna as an assignment, I'll ask you to, give me a report. What was the traffic to your site? And it won't be much. But there's an experience. That's like a hello world. Traffic analytics is a thing, and that gives you just that little bit of traffic analytics. And Tim and Devin, we didn't get to that last semester, but we will. Okay. All right. So that's for this week. For this week, again, read the syllabus on your own. On Thursday, we're going to talk about it. We're not done. It sounds like I'm wrapping up. We got about 10 minutes, and I want to just, jump on to the next thing. But take this fish and look at it. All the links to all the stuff like that are here. Read The Orders of Ignorance by Armour. I've just tried to drop in wherever possible, like just books that relate, maybe, books for fun. And so these are just little, just ideas, recommendations. Okay. And then the blog setup assignment. That's the first week. Cool. And then we will have everything else rolled out as quickly as possible. So, okay. Everybody cool with that? Do you have any more questions? Matthew, what assignment don't you see in Canvas? Did you find it?
Sorry, yeah. It's fine.
Okay, awesome. Let me see. What you're tracking is private, but you'll share it later on in an assignment with me. Like, hey, here's a screenshot from my analytics about whatever. You know what I mean? Something that just kind of shows me that you know how to look at it and you kind of know what that is. Could be Google Analytics. It could be built-in analytics if that's part of your WordPress thing, or whatever you do. Cool. Yeah. Okay. All right. We got 6 more minutes, and by golly, we're going to use them. There any?
Hey, Dr. K.
Yeah. Any more questions, please?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask. So I clicked on the take this fish and look at it. Is it just this short little 2-page thing?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha,
It's literally 2 pages. Super short.
gotcha.
In fact, we're going to read parts of it together and talk about it on Thursday. We should be able to do that. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, let me just do this real quick. This will be a good, next sort of 10 minutes. Excuse me. Yeah, this is I looked I have to refine all my slides as well, but this is, can I just say, I don't even know what this class is officially called. I think of it as computers and society. Uh, you guys a lot of times refer to it as the ethics class, and you guys already have an actual ethics class, you know, that is really about ethics. What I'm trying to do in this class is give you a sort of a forum in which to apply some of that. You know what I mean? I'm not an ethicist, you know, not a professional one. I'm hardly ethical. Um, but what I feel like is so critical, what's so critical to me about this class is there's never been anything quite like, never, that as computer technology and the internet and connectivity and that whole data communications thing, the whole infrastructure, everything. And I've watched it all, you know, I was there when, when Gutenberg, made that press, which changed a lot. That the Gutenberg press changed the course of history, right? Literally, tangibly. Well, man, the microprocessor, are you kidding me? It's amazing. It's amazing. And over, as a function of time, it's more and more pervasive. But what I want you to try to get your head around is sure there are ethical questions, and I want to be able to talk about those. But there's also societal issues, which makes this to me as much a sociological issue, right? As much as anything. And uh, to a, like I said, I don't consider myself an ethicist. um, I do consider myself a sociologist, having done empirical research as sociological research in the field of software engineering. I have in fact done sociological research, and under I'm still a hack, right? We're all at the end of the day, we're all a hack about pretty much everything. You know what I mean? You acquire some letters and some credentials, but when you look in the mirror in your quiet moments, if you're not weirdly self-deluded, you're a hack deep in your core, right? Everybody knows this about themselves, and so I'm just saying. But I am a sociologist. And the other thing I feel like I am is a bit of a historian. I love history, study history, I read histories, and biographies and what have you. Yeah, imposter syndrome, exactly. So to me, this is the authentic name of the class, except it should say, you know what I just realized? Um, I'm just going to do this now because the reality is it's not quite cooked. Let's go that. Let's go and writing. Let's throw writing in there as well. Okay, and writing and other relevant stuff. That to me is what this class really is. It's just all that crap. And the reason that that's so important is that there's again, I'm not gonna go to the next slide. Okay, I'm gonna do that on Thursday. I just want to talk about this title for a second because it really does kind of create the encapsulation that I'm looking for about why this class and why my approach to this class. First of all, if you don't, we already talked about writing. It's critical. Um, Also, writing is not just about learning how to write, but learning how to think. And I think that ethics are about how to think about the world and about your own place in it. And I think that writing is a way of, you know, I'll show you, I've got a little comic that says that writing is nature's way of helping you understand that your thinking is confused, right? Because if you can't think it, you certainly can't write it. There are times that you can think it, but you can't write it. But if you can't think it, you certainly can't write it. If you don't understand that what we're building, all the software we build in every capacity, rolls out and impacts our society, the world, the internet, man, the internet, and the internet is one idea, and the web is another idea, right? You can often conflate them, less so now because there's a lot of internet that's not the web, right? The cloud is the internet without being the web, and there's web is like an interface into whatever. So just call it the internet, and you understand that, but really the web was like the first real, other than like email, the first sort of real, true interactive app for the internet, the one that made everything flip. And we'll talk about it. And I'll bring in a book called "Here Comes Everybody" by Clay Shirky, and Shirky describes the producers formerly known as the audience. That we expect an interactive web. We expect to be able to leave our comments. I had a bad experience at an Instacare, and last night I was dropping my 1-star review onto the cloud for the world, right? It's a participatory world. That the web as a product, really, if we talk about, and I mean like post Mosaic, so that would be really kind of Netscape, Netscape Navigator. That was the mid 90s. You realize that? I was in grad school. I was like 35, kids, mortgage, job. I was in grad school when that web thing kind of like showed up, and you could go www, that was the mid 90s. That was 25 years ago. And you just look at what has happened to the world, and we will talk about it. You take away the internet and there's no Arab Spring. Think about that. Think about that. You take away the internet, there's no Arab Spring. There's a lot of things there aren't. There's a lot of bad things that there aren't. And there's a lot of good things that there aren't if you take that away, hence the ethical questions. History is critical because if you don't the famous quote by Santayana, that if you don't understand history, you're doomed to repeat it. That's a cynical view. Dr. K's view is that if you don't understand history, you won't be able to repeat it like when you want to. One is you will be doomed to repeat it. And I think there's a lot of confusion out there today where people don't understand history. I think there's a lot of confusion. But what about, I want to make a company that does good in the world, or I want to make a company that makes me money, or that, whatever, that meets my needs. How do those companies happen? How does it happen? Well, if you don't understand the history of the computer science field and the history of the industry, of the software industry, if you don't understand that history, you're just hacking. You just fake it till you make it. And mostly you're not going to make it. So understanding where these things kind of come from gives you a view of yourself that says, I can do a thing. You know what I mean? A lot of you, we're out of time. I'm going to end on this. A lot of you are in a mindset, and it's fine. You're in school, and you're like, I'm going to get my degree, keep my nose clean. I'm going to get at my job, find somebody that wants to pay me money to write code, and and that's great. That's great. But some of you have this like itch to be like, I want to start a company. I want to make a thing. I want to make change in the world. I want to change the world. I want to do a thing that's really different, or whatever your thing is. I want you to understand that you look backwards at the people and the companies and the sociological forces that created these dynamics. I want you to be able to look back and see yourself in that, and just say, no, I can do that. I can do that. I can make that company. I can make that app. I can do that thing. There's too much of kind of like small thinking where you say to yourself, oh, that's what other people do. You know what I mean? That's a big thing. That's a big thing that big people do in their big places, and with their big power. No, bullcrap. That's what people do simply who believe that they might as well do it. why not do it, right? That you just believe like, I've got as right, I've got as much a right as anybody else to be successful at this thing and to do that thing and to change the world. Why not? It's got to be somebody. Why not you? So by looking at the history, I want you to understand how that rolls, so you can see yourself in it. So when you look forward with a different view by being able to look backwards. I really believe in that. And then other relevant stuff. And it's a blast. I think it really will be a blast. If anybody's terrified by anything you've heard, there are a couple of other sections, and you're free to bail out and go there. And I'm not trying to be smart. That's dead serious and as supportive as I could be. And if you're on on the wait list trying to get in, you're watching this on YouTube, I'm gonna go for the extra bump and see if I can get you in. So I should be able to. Online is, we don't have to deal with like legal room sizes. The legal capacity of this Discord channel has just become a fire hazard. We don't have that. That's amazing. That's cool. So, all right, I am done. I am done. I will see everybody on Thursday, where you will talk to the hand, because I'm out of here and I'm exhausted. It's been a brutal 4 days. So anyway, feel a little punchy, but welcome, and it's going to be a party. So, there is a fire capacity. Oh, nice. Thanks, Michael. 100. Yeah, there is. I guess there is fire code, man. What can you do? Fire marshal finds out and starts clearing out the Discord server. Nice. Okay. All right. I'm just double checking the comments. Last shot. I'm going to stick around for a few minutes. Wait, Devin, what? Wait. There's no wait. What are people active in the channel? I don't know. Devin, jump on, man.
Sorry. I was just saying,
the 100 users.
The 100 is, I think, only for people active in a channel. I think you can have a ton of people on a single
the server,
right?
but only 100 in the channel. Still, it's the same thing. Yeah. That's like a voice call. Okay. All right. Good luck with the semester and everything else. We will talk further once I got the schedule built and everything else. Okay. Hasta, I'm going to shut down the stuff and stop the YouTube channel right now, but I will stick around for a few minutes for just any other questions or things like that.